as always, disclaimer, just because I'm talking about something doesn't mean I know what I'm talking about. These are just my experiences and my take right now. And if you talk to me about the same thing in a couple weeks, I may have a completely different set of ideas. So don't hold on to anything, just use it as you see fit in this moment. I want to talk about emptiness. Tension in the room increased quite a bit just now. Emptiness. I see you. Emptiness is a difficult word. The thing it designates, the truth behind it is not, but the word is tough. I don't like it. I don't use it much anymore. And maybe you would consider using another way to get at this same truth. I think it's probably because the first Buddhist teachings were translated into the West and in English, particularly by scholars, not by people who practice. So emptiness seemed like a really good word to describe what that truth is. But we know from our daily use of emptiness that it's problematic. I can't think of a single positive connotation that we have when we think of emptiness. There's nothing inspirational about that word. Scholars use a word that creates thought. Thought's not helpful in this case. So we have this tool called emptiness that is not a great tool for us to use. It's like a left-handed person using a right-handed can opener. It just doesn't work as well. So what is a word that a practitioner would use? I don't know. And maybe I wouldn't even get at this from that angle. There are other ways to get at this truth. And the scripture passage that was read today kind of hints at the way I try to do it. I've kind of abandoned trying to define this undefinable thing. I got so caught up in this word, this tool, trying to understand it. What does it mean? How did it? I became fixated on the tool and forgot to try to work on what the tool is indicating. So, set the tool down. This practitioner in the story, very, very dedicated practitioner, and the reward was you get to talk about whatever you want to talk about for an hour. So ask me anything you want to ask me. The practitioner asked, what do we teach? What do we learn? What is that fundamental principle? And the founding master answered with something I think is so surprising to me and also so important. All things are created by the mind. He could have said anything to that question, and he chose all things are created by the mind. Not the mind, your mind, my mind. All of us are creating the world at the same time right now. All things. So, think of your experiences as a game of 20 questions. Who knows how to play 20 questions? Madeline knows how to play 20 questions. Madeline, think of something. Madeline's going to think of something, and I'm going to have 20 questions to figure out what she's thought of. Don't worry, I'm not going to drag you through 20 questions. So Madeline, you have something? Mm-hmm. Where I came from, the first question was always, Madeline?
Animal, vegetable, or mineral?
Didn't even have to ask. So what's your answer?
Animal.
It's animal. So my next question might be, is it an extinct animal? She would answer. And then I start gaining information from her answers, asking more questions. So what's happened here? Think about the moment before I asked Madeline to think of something. What was that thing? Nobody knows. Unlimited potential to be anything that could be thought of. I asked the first question, animal, vegetable, or mineral, and she said animal. Unlimited potential got pared down to 1/3 of what it could have been if we're thinking only of physical objects. That's what our mind does, and that's how our mind creates everything. When we experience something where we taste, we smell, we touch, we hear, we think of things. Those 6 sense organs that are talked about. And usually it's a combination of things. We know we don't only taste something, we taste it and smell it. We hear something as we feel something. Whatever that experience is, boom, it hits us, and all of a sudden we've started a game of 20 questions in our mind. And the first question isn't animal, vegetable, or mineral. The first question is, liked it, didn't like it, neutral. That's it. All of a sudden, this experience that had infinite potential to become anything it wanted to be has been hated it. And then the stories start, because it's not enough to go hated it. Now we have to explain to ourselves exactly why we hated it. Now, the moment is past. We're now living in the past. Going, hated it because this, hated it because that, hated it because it wasn't this. I wanted this, but it's that. For little things, if it happens over and over and over again, we draw out that 20 questions we played a couple of weeks ago, pull it out, we say, oh yeah, I hated it because of this and that and the other. And in addition, this time I realized, hated it this way, hated it that way. If we're really, really paying attention, we might go, oh, hated it, but it wasn't as bad this time. Still hate it, but I have a better open mind about it. Now, if it's a huge thing, it takes one time and it's set in stone for the rest of our lives. It's an instant 20 questions that puts that experience, that situation, that person, that thing, that feeling, that thought into a rock solid, unchanging thing that we have to deal with every time. So, a few years ago, we were living in California, and my brother, his in-laws lived in LA where we lived. And when my brother would come to visit, we would visit at the in-laws' house. Been there many times. The in-laws had a Vizsla, a dog. It's a Vizsla. And I knew this dog. This particular visit, the Vizsla was there, I was there. Something was different this time. I will never know what was different, but I reached out my hand to the Vizsla and he took a chunk out of my hand, just bang. I was shocked. It hurt. I was embarrassed. It kind of shattered a thought I had about myself. I've had a lot of dogs. I volunteered at the ASPCA. I felt like I was good with dogs, and here I put out my hand and this dog just bit the heck out of me. And then there was a lot of fuss. Everybody in the family is a doctor, so they were all over me with their things and wrappings, and so it became a thing. So that dog, I couldn't see that dog the same way ever again. I didn't like that dog much anymore. Just a weird dog. Turned into bad dog. And this is where it really gets bad, because generally when we do that, we start generalizing it. Vizsla. That was a Vizsla that bit me. Vizslas are crazy. Don't like Vizslas. They're bad dogs. That guy's got a Vizsla. They're bad, crazy dogs. What is he thinking? There's something wrong with that guy. He's got a Vizsla. I see a Vizsla, I want to throw a rock at it. Any Vizsla, not that one necessarily, but any Vizsla I see, I want to throw a rock at it. So now I've built all these prejudices. I've created this guy with this Vizsla, he's a jerk. Because this dog 3 years ago bit me. And think about what you do every day. Are we doing that? I do it all the time. I know that this happens, and I still do it. So, this thing that word is so bad at helping us get to, if we come at it from the opposite direction and say, this thing I'm seeing is not what I think it is because I have created all these things about it, all these stories, all these reactions about it. I want to blame it for making me feel bad, so now it has these qualities. I want to love it because it makes me feel good. Now it has all these qualities. I'm not seeing the thing. Something that has unlimited potential in this moment, I am cutting off and saying, no, you can't be this because you're that, because I know you. In fact, I created you. You can't be anything else because I created you. That's what you have to be now. Take a minute. Close your eyes if you'd like. Simple thing, no big deal. But I want you to, first thing that comes to your mind, I want you now, in your mind, to go to your childhood home. Your childhood home. Think of it. Picture it. What does it look like? Do you have any feelings? Don't judge, just yes or no, I have some feelings. Now, think of that house and take the people out of it if you have people in the house, in the apartment, whatever it might be. Remove the furniture. Maybe paint the walls a different color. Change the carpet. Is it your childhood home? Okay. Has anyone had the opportunity to go back to a house they grew up in years later and see what it looks like? There are other people in it. The landscaping's different. They added an addition to the side. So the question is really, is that house your home, your childhood home? Or is your childhood home that place that you've built in your mind? Think of the feelings that arise when you think of your childhood home. That house as it is now with those people in it. Do you feel that way about that house? Or do you feel that way about the house that's in your mind? You don't have to understand that thing. You just have to understand the things that you are putting in front of it, the things that you're building around it, and learn to recognize them and remove them in the moment so you can see the situation, the person, as it is right now, and not see that avatar, that emotional avatar that was created. Everybody in their lives has this person. I've got a few of them. It's that person when you see him coming, you go, oh, here comes this MF right here. Use this practice when that MF is coming to you. Instead of going, oh, here he comes. That Vslau had a family that loved it dearly. That was their pet. They would do anything for that dog. That person that did those things to me that I can't stand, there are people who love that person, no matter what I might think. And God loved that person deserves that love. There's a reason those people love him. It's not because they're stupid or crazy. They experience a different person than you do. So I have a choice. I can see this person coming at me and go, oh, you come again. Or I can recognize that I've created this thing that's coming toward me and I'm not seeing the person, I'm seeing the thing. And in just this moment, can I drop that and let that person be who they are? I feel like I owe it to that person. It's the least I can do. Now I can do the same thing for myself. We have the most complicated avatars we ever create surrounding this shell. There is me in this moment. There have been millions of me's throughout the course of my life. Sitting in this room, there are probably 35 Brians right now, because each and every one of you has created me. And the me that I have created is no more valid than the me you guys have created. I built my me's on the same grounds that you built your me's. I don't know myself any better than you know me. So why would I take my avatar of myself more seriously than the avatar you've created for me? That's a great relief. If I can let go of my own constructed self for just a moment, I replace my restrictions that I've created, these irons, these chains that I put around myself. I can give myself unlimited potential. In any moment, in this moment, I can choose to drop my construction and have unlimited potential to be whoever I need to be right here and right now. That's the power. That's the inspiration. I can't get inspiration from that scholarly word that gets thrown around. I get inspiration from thinking of unlimited potential. I have it. It's part of me. All I've done is covered it up and constrained it by these ideas that I've built over the years. I do it to myself. I do it to you. I do it to everything. That's what I can put into practice. I encourage you to find opportunities to put that into practice as well. I think you might get excited about it. Thank you for listening. Questions?
What's that have to do with the sailboat?
Does anybody have any, does anybody like to tell me what the meaning of the sailboat is? Why it's here?
The empty wind moves it along.
Anybody else?
It's a metaphor for strength.
Mm-hmm.
Sales instead of energy.
Mm-hmm. Okay, how many people were thinking about the sailboat most of the way through the talk? I guarantee you a lot of you are going to think of this talk as the sailboat talk. I didn't look at the sailboat, I didn't mention the sailboat, but your mind was going to the sailboat. It is drawn to things that are empty and meaningless, and it tries to put some kind of, please, why is that here? What is that? That is what the mind does, and you were doing it this whole time. Listen to me, don't look at the boat. That's why the boat's here. Every experience we have is a magnet for stories and judgments and ideas. It's not a problem. That's what makes us magical. We do it to survive. Everything good that we do is because we have this ability to simplify and codify and categorize, so we don't have to, every time we're coming to a red light, go, okay, now what does that mean? That means, okay, red means I have to stop. Okay, good. We don't want to get rid of those things or deny those things. We simply want to change our relationship to those things. Don't let them rule us. They are tools for us to use, not masters to dictate how we think and feel and behave. That's what this book means. Also, honestly, I was going to talk about it at one point, but I decided not to. This boat is a boat that my father and I built together when I was like 10. This boat is about over 50 years old. Stories? This down here is a chunk of lead. This isn't the keel that came with it, but we built it with this because it would capsize if it didn't have it. My father built a black powder rifle for my little brother when he was about 8. And we would cast our own lead balls as ammunition. So we had the materials to cast lead, so he taught me how to cast shapes in sand with lead. The steering system he invented. And there's a rubber band that goes here, and when the wind pushes it, it pulls the rudder so it stays into the wind, and depending on how tense a rubber band you put on it, it'll go whatever direction related to the wind you want it to go. There are thousands of stories about my father tied up in this. I love this boat, and that's another thing about stories, is I won't sail this boat. It's so important to me that I'm afraid I will lose it. It hasn't sailed in 40 years. This boat is intended to sail, but I've trapped it with my ideas. It doesn't get to be what it was built to be. It can't express its true nature because I have imposed these stories and attachments to it. That's what this boat
So
is
is
to
it a
me.
boat? Or is it something else?
It's plastic, it sticks, I learned to sew. My dad made me sew the sail, so I learned to sew, which years later got me work in the theater because I could sew. There's an entire life is tied up in every object we touch if we choose to make it so. But there are consequences if we
But
don't
it's sailing right
recognize.
now.
There you
It's sailing
go.
in my mind. And it doesn't have to sail on the water. It can sail anywhere.
Thank you.
I prefer the word void to emptiness. And when I get jammed up, I try to use the Dharma Sutra as some kind of reference about how many times it says in there that don't forget it's just the name and call. Like in the part where it's talking about practicing charity. Don't forget it's just the name and call. And emptiness jump that's it. It's in the final feelings. Words are don't quite do it. And you get into the concepts like that. And I guess what you just said, attachment, it boils down to attaching to the words that they mean, that there's some kind of meaning, deeper meaning than just the syllable. And it's
Thank you.
just, it's, like you said, it's I called it when you walked in, I said, you got a problem. We were talking today, and I was waiting for you to bring it up, but it didn't come up until you brought it up. Thanks.
Thank you. Thank you, everyone.
Any question on Shirley? You have a question on Shirley?
Yeah, one more.
Sure.
Right. Yeah, I spend a lot of time on attachment. I'm trying to undo. So this is a great call. Thanks. It helps me understand. When I'm trying to detach from, and it's hard because it's decades of illusion and fabrication, and it's embedded so deeply. I guess my question is about the people or the selves that we make up or we perceive that you mentioned. I guess my question for you is somebody who don't like the Islam, the people that something not good happened and they don't feel good when you see them coming. You talk about, I guess, letting go of you're trying to avoid your perception from making a concept of that person, and you owe them that. You said, is that forgiveness for you, or is that just suspending judgment, pushing it away so you can experience them differently?
I would say it is just seeing them clearly. If I were to put it in terms of forgiveness, that belies the truth of what happened. Whatever it was that caused me to have that opinion of that person, it happened in my head. I'm going to forgive them for something I created in my mind. It doesn't matter what I think happened or what physically happened. It matters what I make of it. For me to forgive someone for something I made of something, I can't go there, because that absolves me of the responsibility of having created, because I probably brought something into the first interaction that created that interaction. I can't divorce myself from any event. I have a hand in it in some way, and certainly I process it in some way that I hold on to and use in the future, and that's completely on me. How I process what I experience is 100% on me. So I am not going to hold someone else responsible. It's like me having a dream that my wife cheated on me and being mad at her because I dreamed about her cheating on me. I truly believe that it is on that level. The mind is that powerful. The truth that we create our experiences with. Sorry. Thank you for bringing that up. Because this is great TV, isn't it? There is a physicist, one of the greatest 20th century physicists, named David Bohm. He revolutionized some deep physics stuff. He's so important that we don't have any idea who he is, because only physicists understand how important he is. But he also was completely fascinated by the role the mind plays in everything. And he talked about how physics is more an expression of how our mind works than a real explanation of how the world works, because it's math, and math is a thing that the mind creates. It's not the thing. He gave a lecture at Berkeley in 1977, and he talked about something called the loop of reality. And this is what he said. Écoutez, listen closely. Reality is what we take to be true. What we take to be true is what we believe. What we believe is based on our perceptions. What we perceive depends on what we are looking for. What we look for depends on what we think. What we think depends on what we perceive. What we perceive determines what we believe. What we believe determines what we take to be true. What we take to be true is our reality. That says it all for me. That is this process in a nutshell. And that's why I feel I have to break that loop. That's all my practice is trying to break that loop, recognize it and break it over and over again. It's difficult, it's not easy. But the core message that I'd like you to take away from this is that you have complete control over it. You are 100% able to do this. If you just believe you can, if you perceive it clearly, and work diligently on what you find. Just see things as they are. Okay, thank you.